This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Drive out with a car!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
And the English Professor.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And good weekend, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever. It's a stupid entrance, Chad, but I already have beers in me.
It's morning.
Technically, yes, it is still morning.
Yep.
But we don't know when they're going to listen to this horse shit show.
Well, yeah, wherever they steal it from, download it, pirate it, whatever.
Pirate it. If we're going pirating, nonetheless, like I said, I've already started drinking. I'm on probably number 2 of the Peter Straub Winter Bash beers. It's been that kind of day, so it's been that kind of weekend with the sun. So
And renegotiating John's contract.
He
got a 45-minute show right off the bat. What the hell?
He's not first. We put him in the middle. That's the way that we cover IWC events. Yeah. I thought that, hey, I didn't get to go to the IWC event. You'll hear all the reasons why once we get into it. Chad knows the backstory already, but you'll find out why I didn't go, what pissed me off, this, that, and the other. And the English professor tells us, hold for hold, what happened.
That's good. It's IWC.
Right.
We just got to make sure he knows that this isn't a every weekly thing.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have homework or pontification. He only covers IWC, and I shut him off.
Ah.
Once he starts talking about anything else.
Did you just cut him off on the mic and just let him keep talking?
Oh, he talked for another 15 minutes, and we left for church. Came back, and he finally was still jamboring.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that's when you had to make that trip to St. Mary's because he was still talking.
No, this episode is going to be weird for people listening and don't know the whole story, but as much as I'm royally pissed off at my son right now, I feel the need to still feed him. So we had to feed him before.
Bread and water.
Well, I know, but you know what came out this week, right? I'm a fat kid. The Shamrock Shakes have come out, so I need to get a minimum of 3 of those a week in me, or I turn into a leprechaun. So that's where
I can understand that.
Yeah. So he begged, and I caved because he said Shamrock Shake, and I said, okay, let's go do the Shamrock Shake. I said, then you're going to go right back to your cave and get your homework done.
That'll work.
All right. So let's dive in on wrestling now, and then we'll save some of the stuff for after IWC to talk about what's going on. And we'll release right now, John has cried that he wanted to be part of the project too, that we were talking about last week as we ended the show, which is only right. God bless him, let him get on this, because we started doing it, and it was painful.
It was more difficult than I thought. Not difficult, more tedious.
Painful.
Than I thought, but yeah, it's a good project. Before we get into the wrestling, I got to say something here. There is a huge anniversary being celebrated this weekend that anybody who is a sports fan should know about.
What is it, Chad?
40 years ago, the Miracle on Ice.
Yep.
The American hockey team defeating the Russians. 40 years ago.
And people often think that was for the gold.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They went, if I'm remembering right, they beat the Russians, and then they had to go against Lithuania.
Yeah, I think
for the gold, which they kind of handily beat them.
Yeah,
but yeah, Austin. If you haven't seen the movie, well, you're a communist. If you haven't seen the movie,
my God,
you got to get the movie. It's a good movie, very well put together.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Really gets the emotions. Interviews with some of the real players and everything. Great movie. Probably one of the top 5 sports movies of all time.
And then after you watch that, watch Slapshot.
Yeah.
That's great as well.
Yeah, then
It's a
you're
different twist on it.
takes you from one way to another on that one.
So, we both watched TakeOver. Since TakeOver was last Sunday night, we both watched TakeOver. Let's start there. Run down the rest of the horse shit in a bag WWE, and then the 2 that we like.
Right.
Because the one we will talk a lot about, for sure. TakeOver started with Lee and Dijak. It's a 2 big man match. We've seen it before. I was okay. I wasn't really all in on this match.
I'm impressed. Those guys, they step it up. They step it up every single time, and we're I think somebody says a typical big guy match. Not faulting what you said, but I think of Big Show and Mark Henry or something like that.
Yeah, all right.
These guys are just, they're so much more athletic. When Dijak did that freaking dive where Lee was sitting on the chair between the announcer's table, and he jumped from the ring up to the top rope, perfectly balanced, and did a flip all the way over to Lee. That was nuts.
Yeah, I didn't mean big man match like the Big Show and Mark Henry and that. It just, at first it started off, bumping, and then it gets into their athleticism. We've seen this. I'm not saying, and I'm not downplaying this match either, that we've seen it. I think it would have been better to start with the next match and let Dijak and Lee go second. But that's just me. Lee wins, as we know.
Yeah, hell of a match. Is good, brutal, stiff match.
This next match, talking about brutality, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. I was great with the match. I loved every part of the match. It did what it needs to do for this rivalry. I hated the ending.
Yeah.
I hated the endings of several matches on this TakeOver.
Yeah, the ending was bad. It kind of took away from the match, but it was to protect both of them.
Because they're hot.
And the match itself, this is what a PG-rated match it should be. They had the moves, but it wasn't ridiculous.
Right.
And, there wasn't constant spots where they were, sitting there ordering a pizza waiting for the person to do stuff and that. Great match.
Raquel comes out, tosses Nox through the table. Dakota kind of looks around like she didn't know for a minute and gets the win. That's the part I didn't like. Next up is Finn against Johnny Wrestling. I wasn't invested in this one at all.
Yeah, both of the characters are good, but it's the same old thing with Johnny Wrestling, getting screwed over by somebody, getting the hell beat out of them, turning around and having a great match and ended up losing for, one reason or another. Finn Balor, if you've ever seen anything of his, this was a match. There was nothing surprising with this match. The only thing that I kind of got caught off guard with it was the amount of time they gave the match.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long, by NXT standards, it was a long match. It was almost 30 minutes.
That's long
and
for them.
For a 2-hour or 3-hour pay-per-view, well,
but 10%
again,
of your show.
Again, this is NXT. I'd rather see stuff like that than
I agree.
5-minute matches.
We're not saying this was a bad pay-per-view whatsoever.
No.
It's just, next match, guys, we said this last week. We blatantly said this. Belair against Ripley. Charlotte's going to come out.
Yeah.
Either cost the match, do some screwing over.
And
it happened.
Yeah, anybody who thought Belair, there was some kind of chance of her winning this match, you were kidding yourself. And I seen a lot online, they could have Belair win and then Ripley beat her on a rematch. No, this has been set up with Charlotte to do this because Charlotte and Ric Flair have been bitching and moaning about her position.
She hates tag team matches.
Yeah, she hates tag team. The Becky thing's done with her. The Bayley thing going a different direction. this was to me the only match that made sense for Charlotte on this card.
Yeah, it does.
Or upcoming card, I should say.
For WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era against the Bro Dorks. I told you. I blatantly told you that this is going to happen, and I'm shocked how the next match ended because I thought it was going to be an all-or-nothing thing. I really think, guys, if you know the Undisputed Era lost their titles, you're going to see the Undisputed Era on... I want to talk to you about something. On the main card here in the near future. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I wouldn't be surprised within another show here in the near future that Adam Cole loses the title. Somehow. Not the Ciampa, not the Gargano. I'll believe it's going to be Velveteen Dream. Just throwing that out there.
I kind of see them putting it towards him. He's got the fan response, although NXT era, I mean, everybody loves them.
I agree.
The fans absolutely love them and everything. Unfortunately, I think you're right. They're going to be going to the main roster.
And that's where I want to stop. Again, we'll probably go really long on this episode. Honestly, we probably will. Because we say Raw and SmackDown are the main roster, okay? Well, NXT has a TV deal now. NXT is getting better ratings than the other two.
Yeah.
So, aren't they just shifting anymore? I don't think there's a call-up when from NXT to the Raw or SmackDown. We say it because we know Raw or SmackDown as, Raw is the flagship show. SmackDown came in a couple years later, so they've been around. They got the longevity, da-da-da-da-da. Is it really a call-up anymore, or is it just a shuffle? Because are you going to say that Charlotte Flair went back down to NXT when, come on, as much as we hate her, she's got star power.
Yeah, she's got the name. She's got, they're going to be good matches. I guess you're kind of right. They're not really calling them up, but it's kind of like Vince is picking...
It's a trade. It's not even a trade. It's a free agent signing or something.
He's picking the guys, but I just don't want them... Who's going to carry it? They just don't have a lot of people developed right there. They got a lot of talent, but not a lot of people developed.
You see, right? You see all this happen. WrestleMania comes. You see a lot of. We're going to still call them call-ups on here because it's embedded in our head.
And we got to call it call-ups because. Vince put out that memo a couple weeks ago that the lower card talent
isn't allowed tweeting.
Isn't allowed calling out the higher card talent. But then, Mr. Dishonorable Discharge Randy Orton calls out Riddle on the thing. So I'm like, is that off now?
Yeah.
Or is it just your money makers, or what's the deal? Or is it just Peckerhead Brock?
It's the lower, and we don't mean this by talent or anything. It's the lower card people he doesn't want talking about the bigger. As much as people love Matt Riddle, the English professor being one of them.
Well, he's a Charlotte fan too, so
he's not. Do you think he could carry Riddle? Is he going to carry a Raw?
No.
Or is he going to carry a horrible SmackDown show? No.
I think Riddle at best is
a tag team champion.
A mid-card champion, considering the U.S. title, Intercontinental titles have pretty much been,
worthless.
Yeah, made worthless. Tag team-wise, it could be, but the tag team scene isn't real impressive either.
I don't know. So Ciampa against Cole. Again, a great match. But the ending again, we're going to get Ciampa Gargano for...
About the 500th time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many more times. It's not Flair Steamboat. It's not that. Flair Steamboat, as we'll talk about several times this week about it. Hint on the Spotlight coming up on Wednesday. It's not Flair Steamboat. They're not there.
Yeah, Flair Steamboat was technical. It was grace. It was, telling a story. These guys
They're just beating the hell out of each other.
They just beat the shit out. And I can't say that it's not fun to watch.
No, I'm not saying that.
It was like watching, who was it? Alistair Black and Ciampa, two big guys just beating the shit out of each other. Oh, it's fun to watch at times, but it kind of gets old. Johnny Gargano in the undercard role, the babyface fighting back, it's getting old. It's like Tommy Dreamer in ECW never having the title, and then when he finally does win the title, he loses it 5 minutes later, I think, to the Sandman or something like that. He had more of the it factor than Gargano does.
Yeah. So, all in all, a good takeover. Very bland because you kind of knew what was coming.
Yeah.
The real surprise was probably Adam Cole. Seeing Gargano come out and cause Ciampa the match again. That caught me off guard. Otherwise, everything else we could have pinpointed.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Raw sucked, SmackDown sucked. No, I don't have anything. Matt Hardy gets killed
by Randy Orton. Rowan against Black. This is one that I know it's an undercard match, this, that, and the other. You're building both of them up. Rowan is ripping through people left and right. Aleister Black hasn't lost on Raw since he's been on Raw. Aleister Black makes waste of Rowan in minutes. I don't care about Rowan. Not that I cared about him, but I don't care about Rowan anymore. I don't give a shit what's in the cage. Why would you put these two against each other? Whoever takes a loss takes a hurting. Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense from the storytelling, but I guess I'm seeing them keeping Black going more.
Oh, yeah.
Because after WrestleMania, and so help me God, if Drew doesn't beat Brock Lesnar for the title, I'm done. I'm spearing the TV.
Thank God you're not watching it here then.
I think that Aleister Black and Drew McIntyre
it's great.
would be a really good match for
I'm in for that.
Road. I think that's where they're going with this. I think that's going to be his first big opponent. Big feud. Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. My big thing was what the hell, why, and I'm not an advocate for Rowan. I knew what was going on, and now you just buried him.
Yeah.
Flair's ready for Ripley. A triple threat match. Mojo, R-Truth, and Moss. I'm just going through the card because it's on here. We have a lot of bullshit, and this was the show that Chad was supposed to time this week.
I didn't even make it an hour into the show, and I was like, I can't do this shit all in one thing. I was so like, okay, crap segment. But one thing I did go back through, well, I guess we'll wait for SmackDown. I didn't do it on Raw.
Okay. I got nothing else. AJ came back. There you go.
Yeah.
In the sermon, as much as I'm not against the whole, I'm not. Everybody knows I'm religious and whatever. And I'm not against the Seth Rollins thing for that. I'm against the Seth Rollins thing because the only time he's good is when he's in a group. That's my point. That he's getting good again. I'm all for this sermon thing.
It seems that his confidence in every aspect is up more when he's in a group. Except for the Brock Lesnar, trilogy of matches. It just seems like he is more confident when he's in a group. And those two guys are not ones that he needs to be in a group with the AOP.
No, it's just, I don't know. In the Raiders and everything.
They're copying the storyline. Who was the creepy guy that was in TNA with long hair and like he was a devil?
I know.
James.
Yeah, he's got the teardrop tattoo.
Yeah, that's what they're kind of going with this. And that was really good. That dude was freaking creepy.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And that's what they're kind of going with this. And I like Seth better as a bad guy myself.
I'm all right with him, a bad guy.
And it's just, it's the same shit. It's the same.
I don't know. SmackDown, let me tell you this. Friday night, we went out to eat with the family. Was it Friday night? No. Friday. Where the hell was I Friday night? Have a basketball game. So I missed the first half an hour. I asked the English professor, hey, what did I miss? He sent me back a middle finger. So it means nothing. Garbage. Nothing. That's it. I caught on when your boy Otis was just, Tucker was talking to Mandy and Sonia, and they make a cuter cup or da-da-da-da. So garbage. Lacey's talking about bullying. Garbage. This match.
Good message.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
message,
Yeah,
but
great
garbage
message,
time.
but it was just garbage time. Shinsuke and Cesaro versus Elias and Braun in a beat your metal drum match. Just call it an Extreme Rules match and just have shit out there. I don't need a metal sympathy death match or whatever they call it. And it was stupid. This is only the second one ever. Do you see why it's only the second one ever?
The bottom line was SmackDown was in a 2-hour show. There was 32 minutes of wrestling, 3 matches, take 30 minutes out for commercials. So half of the show was crap.
I honestly, talking to both John and Chad briefly yesterday, and they both didn't really dive into SmackDown. They all had something going on, this, that, or the other thing. I made the point, and we'll see if Chad backs me up. The only thing I remember without my notes is Naomi won against Carmella and is the number 1 contender for Bayley's title. But the match was absolutely horrible. There was so much room in between punches, kicks, anything. I don't know who... I really don't know who is at fault.
The bookers, or who's at fault.
No, I meant the match.
Because those two, when they're paired with somebody good, can have a good match. When they're paired with themselves like that, they don't have... There's not a ringleader. Both of them have a lot to be desired on the skill set. It was like Carmella and who the hell did she have the match with last week?
Bayley ripped it up.
Great match, but she was with Bayley.
Yeah.
This match,
not so much.
And I'm not a fan of Naomi. I never have been. I think she's kind of a sloppy performer, a dangerous performer. That's just me.
So NWA really didn't have a show this week. They had what's called the Circle Squared, as that's it. WWE's done. No more. Done. Good. Yep.
Yeah. SmackDown sucks.
The NWA, the Circle Squared. I love the concept of it. Getting new people in, letting us vote to see who stays. Guys, it's going to, get ready, I'm going to push a button on chat. It's going to set up something for the Crockett Cup. And the Crockett Cup tickets still have not been... They're announced, but we don't know where they're on sale from yet.
Nope. Don't know what Ticket Avenue, Brown Paper, Ticketmaster, e-tickets...
We don't know.
No. They might be on eBay. Who the hell knows?
That pisses us off. I love the concept of this idea, but it took way too long. Just have the match, have us vote. After seeing the Hawks, we saw them at WrestleCade, and we'll bring up WrestleCade here in a minute. We saw them at WrestleCade, and the other guys, the Nikita Koloff's team, the best secret of Jeff Lewis, Neal, and Tyson Dean, I like them better.
Yeah.
We don't like the Hawks, first of all, for one reason.
Yeah. And if you don't recognize that name, that's the idiot team, father-son team, where the son got up on the upper balcony in the mall and jumped off on the two opponents.
And his
father backing the two opponents up for shock value. It, again, doesn't make any damn sense. What are they doing? oh, where's your son at? We're just going to beat you up while he, goes, gets an ice cream cone and gets on the second level of the mall.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
And
we talked to somebody later on this week that completely agrees with us.
Yeah.
So we'll ruin. We won't ruin. We'll toss out the teaser at the end of the show who our spotlight's with, and he completely agreed with us. There was no point to that.
My disappointment is these guys are going to probably be at the Crockett Cup.
And do a spot like that.
And I hope they don't. With the way this arena is set up, and I've looked, I don't see him being able to do something like that. And I don't see Billy Corgan letting them do. When he says to us, there will never be a scaffold match as long as I own NWA, I don't see him letting this. But I see these guys...
And that's when Cornette told me to shut up.
I see these guys having a match and beating somebody, and it's just... I don't mean to be rude, but there's more deserving people. I would rather see PCO and Brody King
come back,
win a match, than these guys win a match.
Yeah, we weren't fans really of them at WrestleCade when we saw them wrestle. We weren't.
Yeah.
You go back and listen to it. We really
WrestleCade was just a big cluster of a lot of people, and there were some good matches.
But we pinpointed them that we didn't like them.
Yeah.
Let's touch on WrestleCade right now. Tickets went on sale earlier this week. Wednesday? Thursday? Wednesday for sure. Yeah, Wednesday for sure. I hem-hawed around enough that some family members said it's going to be a Christmas present. Shut them up.
By hem-hawed around 4 hours about bitching. If I don't get these tickets now, I'm not going to get the ones that I want. And
just cry.
Probably, yeah, he cried like a little bitch.
I did.
But he got his ticket, so it was effective.
It was effective. It works. Call me if you want to know how to do that. So that's my Christmas present already, which it's great. It's a great Christmas present. It satisfies everybody's needs.
Yeah.
You got in just in time because the first day, 500 tickets out the door. Without announcing anybody.
Yeah. No, nothing announced. The only thing that you know about WrestleCade this year is here's vendors' information to sign up and how much it costs, and they put tickets on sale.
Right. That's it.
And we know that there's going to be, this event, their standard event lineup.
Right.
That's all that's known.
Like the Q&A, I'm not going to say it. There's some rumors of what it might be, but, we're, 9 months away from it.
Yeah.
Shit could change 17 times. So we're not going to say anything like that. But it's rumored that that's coming up, which, if it happens, that's amazing on us.
That would be great, depending on who they bring in.
Right. So, WrestleCade, guys, if you want second-level tickets now, you better go, because VIP 1 is gone, and...
The all-inclusive...
Yeah,
everything. You're a god.
Your weekend
your
experience.
Weekend thing, that's gone. The one underneath it, which is only includes one first row seat, the rest are general admission, and then your admission to the WrestleFest. Those are gone. The only way you can't get first row tickets.
Not yet. Your general admission or
your general admission at best, and something new this year for $100 is the 20 autographs.
Yeah.
Of the people that you get,
which isn't a bad deal.
No, not a bad deal at all. But now you're paying individual prices for general admission tickets, almost for, I don't want to say for everything, but that's kind of what the packages
for everything,
are for that are left in that.
So get on there, guys. Tickets will go fast, especially. I thought February, maybe beginning of March, you're going to announce their number one person. Like, it was Muda last year at this time. I believe they announced it soon.
They didn't announce Muda until later. It was only about 2 months before ahead of WrestleCade that they put Muda in there.
Who did they grab that we... There was somebody right off the bat. They're like, holy shit, we got to kind of get to this. And we kind of put it to the side, but...
It was Muda. Who?
Sheik.
Sheik.
And we didn't get Sheik.
Sheik, yeah. And, well... My 5-year-old got Sheik's autograph.
Shut up. All right, let's move on to AEW. This show was amazing, except for the first 20 minutes.
See, from top to bottom, I like the show.
The Battle Royal was too much for me. All right, let me get into this.
Okay, it was setting. We knew who the hell was going to win it.
Right.
The Bucks.
Yeah.
We knew they were going to win it, but to me, this Battle Royal was actually, I liked it.
It was all right. It was good after the first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes of it is what pissed me off. Everybody was in the ring. You were pumping this crowd up. In 5 minutes into your TV show, you have everybody laying on the ground for 15 seconds. Because one person dove into everybody and knocked everybody
like
over.
30 people down.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
No, not first.
Maybe
5 people. Okay, it was everybody.
Maybe a big person.
Right.
But not well, let's just be thankful Marco's stunt wasn't in it.
Later in the match, I think one thing was wasted, and I think it's hurting Pride and Powerful, Santana Ortiz, whatever we're going to call them. They did the street sweeper on Jackson.
Yeah.
That's their finisher.
Yeah, he should have been out.
Right. Don't let him do that. All right, we knew the Young Bucks were going to win because who has the titles? It's been set up. Why have him do the finisher and then he saves himself? Again, their finisher has been destroyed several times.
This has been the thing of AEW, especially with the tag team division. You know, Santana and Ortiz. Who's the other guys? The Best Friends.
Yep.
Using these, amazing maneuvers and that, and then having guys kick out of them, and then they win with a small package.
Yeah.
Wrong. Not good booking. Not good booking.
Next up, we had Britt come out on commentary as Shauna and Statlander were having a match. I think Britt was used wrong here. They didn't give her enough time to talk. She got some words in, but she didn't get enough in.
I think this was used right because she was picking on Tony.
She was picking on Tony the whole time.
You see, and they made a slip up, and they panned back to them. And Britt had her arm around Tony, and they were both laughing and smiling. And it was like, oh shit,
I gotta be mean.
And it was just funny because Tony can take this stuff without cracking.
Britt cracked,
and I don't. Yeah, it was just funny, and oh my god, her hotness is increased by being a bitch.
I agree. Statlander wins in a match that was okay. We'll leave it at that. Nyla comes out for her interview. She's pissed the crowd's not cheering for her. She's the queen bee. Statlander comes back out. Big Swole comes back out. They banter and they kind of just don't let anything happen. They just push him to the side. Yeah. Big Swole's going to be a player in AEW. I think so. And Statlander, I believe, is going to get the next shot at Nyla. Let's hope, though. Cobb versus Moxley. My God. This match was great.
Those two, so underrated, and they just beat the hell out of each other again. I know Moxley winning was the thing to do. It could have been some bullshit decision.
Right.
To not hurt Cobb, but I don't think he's hurt at all. I think they haven't officially signed Cobb yet, so it's kind of like, they don't want to. They
don't need to pander to him yet.
Yeah, I mean he can come back and do whatever, but dude is a beast.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he reminds me of a more agile Rhino from ECW days, whereas Rhino was just an absolute beast. Cobb just has, I think he's more flexible, better on the technical side.
Moxley wins. Here comes the Inner Circle. Da-da-da-da-da. He gets his ass beat. And you called it. You called it 2-3 weeks ago. Lights out. You hear the music. You see the skateboard.
You hear the pop.
You hear the pop. Heat. In a good way. Not bad. Just up and ready to go. And Darby is... We've already said he's a superstar, but Darby's a legit player now in AEW.
Yeah, he's... As much as I hate Sammy Guevara, their match at the pay-per-view is one of the matches that I'm honestly looking forward to.
Let's talk about Sammy for a minute, because we forgot to say...
He's such a dick.
We forgot to say this during the Battle Royal. He actually interfered during the Battle Royal, and the super kick that he took, and he bent himself.
It looked like he got his jaw smacked around to the back of his head. That was
best
beautiful.
sell of the year so far. I don't care.
This reminds me of years back when Shawn Michaels wrestled the one guy that was with Kurt Angle.
Shelton
Benjamin. And Benjamin propelled himself off the rope, flipped around, and Michaels super kicked him right in the face. This reminded me of that. It just looked... I was like, honestly...
I thought he was hurt.
Yeah, it looked bad.
I really thought he was hurt. So, again, Darby, Sammy G is going to be an amazing match. Next matchup is the Lucha Brothers against Paige and Omega.
Good tag team match. Really good.
It was. But, again, we knew who was going to win this match. I almost wish this match would have been before the Battle Royal, because then you could talk, but now they're talking about who the Bucks going to face, Well, we've seen the prelude to all of this of the Bucks and Omega being buddy, but Hangman, they don't want him drinking anymore. And Hangman says, go get bent. I'm going to have a beer after a match, Chad. Don't you think he's allowed to have a couple beers?
Yeah.
3, 4, 10, whatever.
It was like people bitching about Storm and Eli Drake on Power the last time, 2 weeks ago or whatever, drinking on set out of the Crockett Cup. He only had one beer. Give him a break.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it was like 124 ounces of beer.
Right.
Give him a break.
Whatever. I mean, I'm excited to see the Bucks against Omega and Hangman. I'm excited to see what happens after. Bucks win the title, you're going to get Omega and Hangman fighting for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think... Because this Wednesday, Pac against Omega in a first ever Iron Man match for AEW. Something goes on there. Pac causes some interference during the pay-per-view. Hangman gets pissed off, and him and Omega go after... that's just where I'm going.
I see it. Something happening this week where Paige comes down, miscue, whether he distracts Omega, causes them the match, they're bitching back and forth, they get into the pay-per-view, and I see Omega turning on Paige.
Oh, okay.
Because there's more of a following to cowboy shit,
right,
than there is Omega. Shit. Cowboy shit, come on, what he says!
Right, I know.
And what they chant.
And then we have a cage match. It was a cage. No, my God!
First, we gotta go back. Before we hit the cage match, I gotta say, kudos to the fan. That was awesome for you to give Paige a beer after. He was very parched. We don't know, he could have...
Yeah,
he could have been suffering.
He could have been suffering.
The cage match.
This cage is great. It's not... It weighs 6 tons, so this is my beef. It weighs 6 tons, so each side of the cage weighs 1.5 tons. Whatever. We'll leave it at that.
We brought this up. We talked about that part offline, and I said something that I liked about this cage was the fact that where the corners where the aisles, like if you were looking down at the cage, that's where the aisle was, so there was nobody sitting
right
there. You weren't looking into a corner and not being able to see shit.
Right.
Everybody had a great view no matter where you were sitting.
My big thing was there was no cameraman in the cage. There was the turnbuckle cam. They shot through the cage, which that's what they did in the 80s.
Gives it.
That's what gives it.
The War Games, the first 2 War Games match, you saw every single thing you needed to see in two rings by shooting through the cage.
Yep. That makes it wrestling for me. Cage match in the WWE is an entertainment match. This, and good God, we talk about blood a lot in this show. Once John and I get and talk about the IWC recap, Cody started it off this week with just dripping blood. This was a bloody mess this week.
Yeah, he, took another good shot. I mean, he's a Rhodes.
He is. Yeah,
he
I know.
likes to bleed.
He loves to bleed.
Dusty likes to bleed. Dustin did after he got comfortable in the business more. The match was great. Wardlow played perfectly. This is my 5-year-old sat and watched this.
Was he upset that?
Oh, he was pissed when Wardlow lost. He was stomping and threw his tablet on the couch. I'm going to bed.
But Wardlow didn't lose. In wins and losses, he's got an 0-1. Wardlow did not lose.
Yeah, that for the first match, everybody that I've seen talk about this online, holy cow, we didn't know he was this good. I told you so.
IWC fans told you so.
Go look at his stuff. You can find, if you don't want to pay for the IWC network,
there's some on YouTube.
There's so much on YouTube. He is the complete big guy. You want power? He's got power. You want brawling? He's got brawling. You want to go... He may not be a Ricky Steamboat or a Ric Flair scientific-wise, but dude can have a good match with anybody. And if you don't
He made Jackson Argos look good.
Yeah, that's hard to do, too. That's almost on the level of making a Man Dime look good.
We'll get the IWC. There's a lot coming up. So
yeah, but Wardlow looked great.
Yeah, he did. So AEW wins by about 100,000 this week which I'm shocked it didn't hit 1 million. With what they threw on the table, it didn't hit 1 million this week, but they beat NXT by about 100,000.
Yeah.
Rounding. I'm not going to get into specific numbers, but
two things we didn't mention about the cage that we got to talk about here was the tease with Arn turning on Cody. Now, was that a tease, or was he letting MJF get a little bit closer so he could smack his head off the door? Hint, it's a tease.
It's a tease.
If you don't think Arn Anderson's going to turn on Cody Rhodes, turn in your wrestling man or woman card.
Wow.
Because you do not understand what's
coming up.
Anderson Rhodes history.
I think it comes after Cody has the title.
I think it comes beforehand because it's more of a build up for Cody. I think they're not gonna have a title on Cody for a while yet. He will not be the one to beat Jericho for the title. I do not believe that.
And I'm gonna stir the pot and say I don't think it's gonna be Moxley either.
I don't think so either. As
Jericho,
much as I would like to say Moxley, I think they're gonna have maybe a 2-3 match series where neither one of them are hurt out of it, but I don't think Moxley's gonna win it. Or if he does win it, then he's gonna get upset for the title quickly.
Yeah, I think so. Because he's somebody better to climb after the title as well. Jericho, I don't know. He's your Ric Flair right now.
Yeah. The other thing with a cage match was old MJF climbing and Brandy smacking him with a chair a couple of times. And he comes like he's going to punch her, and Arn comes from behind and throws him into the fans or whatever. Good spot for Arn.
Good spot. You know what? Brandy being back with her husband is awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be in the wrestling ring, and try to be put over as a wrestler. That whole crap that she was doing before it's not her. It doesn't make use of her. No. It makes her look like, and I'll say it, it makes her look like Stephanie McMahon being pushed down our throats because of who she is.
Nice. All right, let's head over to Al Snow. We'll talk about, because this is going to be long. It's already long. I'm looking at the time. Collar and elbow, you guys know the whole shtick. When you go to check out Can Crushers, capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers, you'll get an extra 10% off. We love the clothes. Generic pop for him today. Here's Al. I'll be back with the English professor to cover IWC, and Chad will join us in a bit.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
This is Remy LeVay of The Culmination, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast.
And welcome back to the Can Crushers. I have the English professor right now who was live at IWC Ignition last night. We'll get into why I couldn't be there, but English professor, how are you doing today?
I'm a little hoarse, so please pardon my voice. Other than that, I'm great. These late nights, early mornings are a little tough, but hey, it was a fun night, so I'm going to have fun talking about it this morning.
So you went. I had to stay back because the son got into some troubles, and we've made it a major homework weekend. You know, as I said, we're always forthcoming what's going on. He's failing some classes. I don't appreciate it, and I'm going to put him to school my way.
It's the right thing to do. I mean, you know, everybody goes through tough times, but he's too smart of a kid to be doing as poorly as he's doing.
Yeah, you need to talk to him more. So I got on the live stream, this is the first time I've actually watched a live stream live. You know, I've watched some of the video on demands and everything, so this was kind of a little bit of homework assignment for me as well. But I only got on after Bulk Nazi threw Xander in the locker room because we decided to go to dinner with my father. So you can have the first two matches right off the get.
All right, we got there just as they were making the introductions for the pre-show, right around 6:40, 6:45. The pre-show match was a tag team match with Phil Archer and the Sexy Fireman against Team Big League, consisting of the Sure Shot and Mandime. I thought the Sure Shot name was pretty cool because that's a reference to Africa Boombata. I don't know if you know who that is.
Nope.
He's the godfather of hip-hop, Mark. The godfather of hip-hop.
Oh, yeah. Now I know who he is. Yeah.
Now you know who he is? Yeah, he's got a song called Planet Rock.
Yeah.
Planet Rock, it's the Sure Shot. Anyway, that made me think of that song. They were very cool. Don's very cool. This was just a good tag team wrestling match. I love tag team action. And this told your very, very typical yet still very fun tag team story with the bad guys beating up one of the good guys. And eventually, Sexy Fireman getting the hot tag. Did a little cleanup work, went to do the booby face, I think, to the Sure Shot. The dime piece got on the apron and started yelling at him. Some of the fans were like, hit her, kiss her. But he gave her the booby face, grabbed her by the face.
That's a poor thing.
Oh, yeah. She played it up well, but she was repulsed, man. Maybe she really was. Maybe it wasn't an act. I don't know.
I'm repulsed by that.
In the end, Team Big League wins, and you're going to see some wins tonight with very basic moves that may seem anticlimactic, but I hope IWC trains fans a little bit to accept a basic move winning a match. And in the end, you had the Sure Shot and the Mandime doing spinning forearms. So, like, one hit the sexy fireman in the back of the head. I think the short shot hit him in the face, and Mandon hit him in the back of the head. And that was enough to knock him out and get the pin.
I like that. I like that. Team Big League is on the move right now. You're going to see a lot of things from them in 2020. And I know they've played around on social media all week saying that there's a new member coming tonight. So I guess we'll have to wait and see later on down the line, huh?
Yep, we find out a little bit later in the card.
And the next match is the actual opening match of the card then, right?
Yes, it is Chest Flexor versus formerly known as Gory Angelic. Chest Flexor comes out with Corey Futuristic and Ginger. Give me a minute. I will be the sushi to her Ginger any day. Anyway.
Good.
Anyway.
God, that took you all week to think of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very quick match. Angelic offered him a leaf. And I don't know if this was like a symbol.
It's a feather.
Piece.
It's a golden feather. Do you not all right, go ahead.
I'm unclear. I'm still unclear. I'm sorry, but I'll figure it out eventually. Chest Flexor takes the leaf. He does some funny things with it. He puts it kind of on his scalp, like a headdress. Then he takes it off and puts it above his lip, like under his nose, like a mustache. And then he tickles Angelic with it. The fans were getting a kick out of it. In the end, and in the only move of the match, really, Angelic gets him sort of like into a razor's edge position up over his head, spins him in midair, and brings him down like into like a masked superstar, honky-tonk man type of neck breaker. 1, 2, 3, that was it. I don't know if the match took 15 seconds if you eliminate the tickling and the feather mustache. And he had to be carried back to the dressing room by Ginger. She carried him like he was her new bride, and she was carrying him over the threshold. She's a strong lady.
Yes, she is. She really is. A lot of extracurricular activities Ginger does with Chest. So, yeah. This is where I came in now. Yeah. I see Bulk just shoving Xander into a locker, and then he comes out because he's going to defend the titles against the Regulators, which is Chris LaRusso and Jock Sampson. And the crowd was hot during this match, wasn't it, John?
Oh, my gosh. This was this was a fever pitch. This was such a fun match. And the reason Bulk stuffed him in a locker was because he got himself a matching singlet that says Bulk.
I saw that.
And Bulk he just lost it. He got so upset. And the sad thing is he was so excited to show Bulk, and you know how he always is. He's always excited just to be around him, and they're tag team champions. Like, look what I got, man. I think you're going to love this. And Bulk's eyes were bulging. And he's like, yeah, no. Believe me, I had to sit down too when I saw this because it's so great. And he just took him by the back of the neck and stuffed him in a locker and closed him in there, and he went out to wrestle the match on his own.
And when Xander came out, your son was going nuts because the camera was just perfectly on it, and Sylvan went ballistic because you saw him all over the IWC network for only $9.99 a month. So you knew something was going to happen just from Sylvan's reaction.
Nice. Oh, that's very cool. Sylvan and his buddy had a great night, and I'm going to touch on a few things later.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. The whole crowd. Yeah. The whole crowd popped hugely when he what's his name?
Xander.
You just said Xander. Thank you. Yes, when Xander came out, I can never remember that little guy's name. Bulk had been going alone for a while and had been doing okay until usual shenanigans. Because you basically had a 4-on-1 or maybe 5-on-1 situation there with all the guys on the outside. But once Xander came out, the crowd had a huge reaction. Good double team moves, man. I just missed this so much about pro wrestling. It was on the pre-show. It was in this match. Good tag team wrestling. Guys working together. You had Bulk lifting Xander over his head and throwing him into people. And it makes sense for that team. You know, you have a smaller guy who can fly, and you have a much bigger guy. So they did some nice double team moves. In the end, they did like a Midnight Express finish.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, Bulk hit a power bomb, which is not part of the Midnight Express finish, but it was when Stan Lane would get on the top rope and Bobby Eaton would send him flying off the top rope. That's what Bulk did to Xander. Xander was on the top rope. Bulk, did like the body slam off the top rope, but instead of body slamming him, sent him flying into like a frog splash, and that's how they got the win. Defended the titles. I was mad at Bulk. I was mad at Bulk for locking his partner in a locker. I'm like, this guy's just being mean, and there's no need for it. After the match, well, even during the match, Bulk started to like take the top part of his singlet off, and Xander followed suit. Then when they won, he high-fived him with the belts. The announcer announced the winners are Bulk and Bulk. Bulk took the microphone, said the winners are steak and eggs. They tapped belts. I think he had to put him like, not through an initiation phase, but he needed his partner to prove himself before he was going to accept him. And I guess it's okay.
So,
you got to earn respect.
Kind of like Sergeant Slaughter putting Greg Gagne through the boot camp. This is Bulk's boot camp for Xander.
Yeah, I mean, he'd been harpooned. He'd been left for dead. He trusted people with his life in the Cobra Corps.
Right.
He wasn't just going to accept Greg Gagne. No, you got to prove yourself.
So I'm going to throw you under how many regulators are there? Can you name all the regulators?
So let's see. There's a cop. There's a judge.
You want me to name them for you to help?
I don't know those. Obviously, LaRusso and Jock Sampson. And as much as the sheriff guy yelled at my kids and me all night, you think I'd know his first name, but I still don't. Murphy. Okay, easy enough.
And then the judge is Lawless.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, okay.
So
yeah.
You said during your ramble there it was possibly 5-on-1 at one point. Who was the fifth person out there with them?
No, I guess you're right. It was 4. It was 4-on-1.
Okay.
It was 4-on-1. And you had like guys in the ring creating a distraction, and I think maybe Lawless hit him in the throat with something, or it might have been Murphy, and that's when things kind of. Wow, it might have been with the gavel. You're right. Yeah, and that's when things turned around. But there was one point where they did a double suplex, which was nice to see. And then they went for another double suplex, and Bulk suplexed them, sent them flying across the ring. There's some big hitting moves in this match and throughout the card.
It was a gavel, and March 14th, you definitely need to sit down and talk to each one of these guys because your recollection today of names is actually no, it's not today. It's in life. We've had a 30+ year friendship, and you can't remember shit. So let's go ahead to. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Bulk Nasty's been around a few years, so I've got his name. It's the new guys. I'll get them. Anyway, moving on.
Vegas.
We have the Lebanon Don. Right? I remember that. The Lebanon Don, he interrupted Jimmy Vegas. Jimmy Vegas was supposed to have a moment in the ring where he was going to talk to the fans. Go ahead.
I just took a drink of coffee now. I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. The Lebanon Don comes in and says he's already beaten Jimmy Vegas, so he doesn't want to match with him, but he's offered him $5,000 for a street fight. Vegas comes out. Some guys come out of the back. I'm sure you can name every single one of the guys that came out of the back, Mark.
So let's talk about them. Go
ahead.
One was a sexy fireman. The Board of Education was out there, and then Chase Gold came out. So, yeah.
So you could name all of them. The sexy fireman stayed out of it for a while. Then when he saw Bulk was cleaning house, he was like, nope, I'm leaving. And he went back to the locker room. Vegas just cleaned everybody's clock. He's a huge dude, and 3 of those little guys were no match for him.
Not at all. And you thought maybe the fireman was gonna turn, but he just lingered around, and then boom, see you later, like you said. And Vegas grabs the mic and says, you know what? Screw it. I'll make this announcement later on tonight.
Yep. So I guess we'll hear from him later.
Then we get a strange yet intriguing RC Dupree promo. Snowball fights, a little kissy-kissy with his posse, entourage, whatever you want to call them. John, what do you think of this RC that's still suspended?
Well, he says he's been a follower all of his life, which from what little we know of him in the IWC, that is the case. He was with Jackson Argos. He was with Jock Sampson. He was kind of the third man in a three-man faction. So he says he's not going to be a follower anymore. He's going to be a leader, and he's going to be the athlete that we all deserve. So I'm excited to see what this athlete is that we all deserve. I think it's a great promo. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the whole gimmick, I guess, if you will. And he has made this transition flawlessly from who he was before to who he is now. Still kind of the same, but different. Just, in wrestling, you see characters taken to a different level, not always necessarily better or higher, just a different level. He's taken this to a different level. It's sort of like the next chapter in this character's life. I like it.
A little bit eccentric, right?
Yeah, a little eccentric. Yeah, that's a good word to use in this situation.
Well, that's his gimmick. But, all right. Next matchup is Spencer Slade, and he's going to take on John McChesney. And McChesney comes out with Dime Piece, the Man Dime, and Nystrom. And this is the first time I get to see the Dime Piece tonight. Holy moly. Holy moly, holy moly. She usually has, tights on or something and she looks amazing. She's got this skimpy little black skirt dress thing on. You're gorgeous. You really are. I know you listen to the podcast. You really are. I'm not being stupid.
I think that me.
No, you're not gorgeous at all. The Dime Piece, I don't want your number or anything. We can chat, but I'm not going to hit on you like that. But you're a beautiful woman. You know how to work your assets.
She had a tough time once or twice getting in and out of the ring. I was reminded of an episode of All in the Family in which Gloria wears something similar, and Archie is mad. He doesn't want his daughter wearing that. He says, every time you sit down on one of them things, the mystery's over. And that's kind of how I felt about what the Dime Piece was wearing. Every time she got in the ring, the mystery was over.
Damn it. See, all right, let's stop right here before we talk about this match. Because right before we went on the air, I said this to John, that I started watching the network, and I figured, well, this is time for me to critique it. As soon as I started watching it, I got a knot in my stomach. I really did. Like, I don't miss many IWC events. This was... It really hurt me to call you and say, hey, can you find somebody to take my ticket over because my son's being a complete jackass. It hurt. It felt great watching it, but it just hurt that I wasn't there with my extended IWC family.
Yeah, they missed you. Jenny asked about you, wondered where you were, and I figured I would just, kind of let you tell the story. Yeah, but folks missed you for sure.
That's not. I wasn't saying it for. I didn't want praise and glories. I'm just saying, like, I have a sickness. Like, it's what
I told you that. You're sick in the head. Yeah, you haven't missed one in years. I've missed one here and there. So I guess maybe not that I want to miss it because it's always a good time, but it's a little easier for me. You need help. You need to talk to someone.
I do need help. All right, let's get back to the McChesney Slade match. And why the hell the Man Dime was eating gummy bears and Hot Shot was eating, or Slingshot, or where the hell is Nystrom was eating, I don't know. They were just eating around ringside. That annoyed the hell out of me.
Oh, there you go. You're talking about it, right? It was something different.
Shut up,
something to hold your attention. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. Mission accomplished. The match itself was fantastic, I thought. One of the better matches of the night for sure. It took a different turn than I thought. I thought we would see like a lot of technical wrestling. I loved what we saw to Spencer Slade. kept going for double legs and then ground and pound. Double legs, ground and pound. I loved it. Beautiful drop kick by McChesney during the match where he dropped down. Slade went over. When he came up, timed beautifully. Just that nice, this is going to sound creepy, that nice arch in McChesney's back during that drop kick. Beautiful drop kick. During this match, CJ Sensation, just for a moment reminded me of Jason Sensation, just because of the last name really is all. I don't know if they're related or not. You remember Jason Sensation used to do those incredible impressions, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
But for some reason, when he did Owen, it got under Owen's skin, and he came out and bitch slapped him and got him in the sharpshooter. Yes. During this match, I was like, I wish somebody would come out and bitch slap CJ and get him in a sharpshooter. He was infuriating with how easily he was distracted.
More on CJ, because I have a note on CJ here in a bit. I really do. Okay, sorry.
No, that's all right. I just was hoping somebody would hurt him, and that's terrible. But he was so easily manipulated. McChesney's telling him to check out this turnbuckle or something, and so you've got the man dime and the dime piece and the short shot, all taking cheap shots on Spencer Slade. And during the match, I don't know if it was a punch or something, but like it resonated throughout the arena. And my son yells, "Ref, can you not hear that?" And I'm going to oust the man dime here. He turns to my son and says, "No, he's deaf, just like your boy Slade."
Unbelievable. You sent me that text actually last night. That's terrible. But the match goes down that everybody kind of just distracts CJ, as you were saying, and Nystrom gets to toss in some hairspray or spray paint or silly string or something that is compressed in a bottle, squirts it in Spencer's face, super kick to McChesney, and he gets the win.
Yep. But the spray was like, I don't know, it made a sound. It was like, hurt.
Was it an
like
air horn?
Doing an impression of Diesel. What's that?
Was it an air horn then?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. He sprayed him in the eyes with an air horn.
All right. Next we oh my God. Next we have the high stakes title match. And John, this was by far my favorite match of the night. It really was. Holy hell. Blood, guts, galore, and one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, Shane Douglas, was in this. I have nothing else to say. It was just amazing. Hooven, you are the MFing man. This is, God, it was a crime scene.
It really was. I have never seen that much blood in a match. I don't hesitate to say that. I told you it kind of reminded me of WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart and Steve Austin, where Austin was just like, like there was a faucet was turned on, just blood spritzing everywhere. This was worse than that. I mean, Hooven was covered, and it was a chair shot for anyone who didn't see it, anyone who's wondering. Earlier, Hooven threw a chair at Mambo Italiano, and Mambo kind of got his hands up. Mambo returned the favor. Hooven didn't put his hands up. The sort of the rim of the chair connected to his head. I know it's entertainment, and again, we never want to be disrespectful. We never want to know the ins and outs. We love to keep guessing. I don't know what in the world happened here, if this was by design or not by design. It's the most blood I've ever seen. It is the most blood I have ever seen in a wrestling match.
John, you can go and watch it on the IWC network for only $9.99 a month. Once it hits, you can see it literally squirting out. Like Kayla Thompson and Brad Kaler and Megan Nelson. It looked like the sexy fireman was out there squeezing Hooven's head trying to put a fire out. It was spraying everywhere.
Yeah, it was sick. Quick shout out to Shane Douglas. Did a nice job as the referee. Just stayed out of the way and let the guys fight.
Except until the end. He got in the way, which it doesn't make any sense because it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He got in the way, he got run into, and then a glass bottle is smashed over Hooven's head as well. And the glass goes everywhere. Like, you saw Shards hit Lendl. I'm telling you, again, the 2-to-1 media, when they do things right, you see everything. Like, boom, it just blew the freak up. And Mambo gets the win. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. There was a table spot earlier where Hooven had set up the table, and it was clearly a two-person job. And Shane Douglas says, I'm not going to help you. And I'm like, yes, thank you. I hate when the ref helps guys set up weapons. It's not your job. That's showing favoritism. But Shane told him, nope, not helping you. He set the table up, but it was ultimately to his own demise. That was another spot. That was like where we were sitting. That table blew up when Hooven hit it and was folded over on top of him. It was a bad night for Hooven, man. I didn't know Mambo had it in him. Mambo Italiano threw a beating in that match.
He did. He really did. Your new high-stakes champion, and where's it going to go from here? But Hooven gets some help out, and then all of a sudden, RC's music hit. I thought, wow, we're going to have back-to-back promos. No. He is in Court Time Sports Arena and ready to go, and he comes out and talks to Mambo and says, hey, that's my title. I'm coming after it.
Yep. He says he wants it back.
But he's still suspended, though, right?
Correct. Yeah, I haven't heard that he's been reinstated. I haven't heard that that's on for March 14th. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
Me neither. Me neither. I haven't either.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll have to.
Let's focus on the positive here. We have the very first Italian-born champion in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania since Bruno Sammartino. That's pretty special.
That is pretty special. With you being Italian and me being half Italian, we're all in.
Yep.
So hopefully Mambo goes all out for us and doubles down, and we'll see. I mean, there's so many possibilities coming for March 14th. Shout out to everybody and to myself. March 14th, John, do you know what happens the day after that?
March 15th is the day after that. Yes, I know. Mark turns 43, Can Crushers listeners.
No, it's the Ides of March. It's the Ides of March. It is, yes, clearly it's my birthday, but it's the Ides of March. But, so we should have a rip-roaring time. We really should, especially with some of the stuff going to happen that I see it's leaning that way. We should have a rip-roaring time, and maybe afterwards go out for a beverage. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down.
I'm sure Soup is too. All right, so we have, I thought this was going to be where the intermission comes in. I really did. They have a hell of a lot to clean up, but they don't. They clean up quickly. You know, congratulations to the security group and everything for IWC.
They did a great job. They really did.
They even sprayed. They came out with bleach and sprayed the mat tonight, which is the first time I've actually seen it in person or not in person, that they sprayed where Hooven's blood was gushing.
Yeah.
And this, go ahead.
So yeah, they went. Go ahead.
And this
they went right to Jackson Argos versus Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, and this is where I get mad at 2-to-1 media. And I just found out I shouldn't be mad at 2-to-1 media. And John will touch on that. So Cobb and Argos, and it goes wonky for a little bit, and then bam, as Argos has Cobb in the neck ringer. Boom, it is gone until after intermission, and I am livid. Sending text to John saying how much this is bullshit, this is stupid, but John saved 2-to-1 media because it wasn't their fault.
Yeah, Justin posted something about the building losing internet service, which is why viewers temporarily lost the feed. That sucks, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry that you went through that, Mark. Was a good match, start to finish. One thing I want to point out, because it is the details, when Jackson Argos locked up with Jeff Cobb, Cobb's obviously a much bigger guy. You've seen matches where the lockup goes back and forth. So if someone's against the ropes, then they switch and they switch and they switch on down. Maybe because I've only ever seen that sort of thing on TV, they're focused on the upper body, and because I was there live, I could see Argos' entire body. He would switch his hips to gain the advantage on the lockup. That's an important detail because he doesn't have the power to just move Jeff Cobb around. So he'd switch his hips to reverse the lockup. Just a nice detail by a seasoned pro. Argos is amazing no matter what he does, whether he's flying off the ropes and doing something wicked or whether he's just freaking locking up with the guy. He's incredible. He's a terrific wrestler.
Finish the match. I have no clue. I'll come back at halftime.
Much of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were U.S. and Canadian flags in the crowd. This felt dangerous almost. This felt old school. Thankfully, they were sitting across the gymnasium from each other, but there was an American flag with the usual suspects. And there was a Canadian flag over by us. I mentioned, the switch with the lockup and using his hips. There was a nice exchange of holds. Outside the ring, Jeff Cobb went for maybe a power slam on the floor, or he went to ram Argos into the post. Argos, sneaks up behind him and rams Cobb into the ring post. So he got the upper hand there for a little while, but not for very long. Not for very long. Cobb was just too big of a guy. He had Argos down, went for a standing moonsault at one point. Just too much showboating, took too much time, missed it. And I think that's maybe where Argos set him up for almost like the octopus hold, but on the mat, not standing up. He had his leg wrapped around his head. That's where Mark and viewers lost the stream, unfortunately. Cobb hit a suplex, just a vertical suplex from one corner, and sent him flying into the other corner, which would have been crazy impressive had Bulk Nasty not done it to two guys at the same time earlier in the match. Still very impressive. Cobb could only wrestle his opponent. His opponent was Jackson Argos, threw him across the ring. In the end, you have, trying to describe this move here, sort of like a spinning power slam, where he's got up for a power slam, but instead of falling forward, he kind of falls the other way, towards his feet. And that was enough for Cobb to get the win.
So then we come back from intermission as we're, just looking at the time. We'll have to pick up the second half of the segment, John, a little bit quicker. We have Patch, Phoenix, Young, and Jameson fighting for the Super Indie title, and it was a great match until Angelica, Corey, whatever the hell we're calling him, comes out.
Yeah, and very quickly, I'm so sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. During intermission, Cobb did not charge my son or his friend for a picture, which is very cool. I asked him if he would please tell Britt we still love her and miss her in Pittsburgh. He said he absolutely would. Or Britt, if you're listening, we love you and miss you in Pittsburgh. This was unbelievable, and I do have to share this. Shane Douglas's autographs, pictures were very, very inexpensive for a star of that caliber. My son and his friend blew all their money in about 5 minutes and had nothing left, and asked him what a picture cost. He told them. They were starting to walk away. I'll never know who this person was. Somebody reached into his wallet and gave the kids what they needed to get a picture with Shane Douglas. Because I asked, where'd you get the money for this? And they said some guy just gave him the money for it. I said, where is this person? They looked, they couldn't find him. So that unbelievably kind gesture by a total stranger to give my son and his friend money to get their picture taken with Shane Douglas. Just thank you. I don't even know what else to say. There are still plenty of good people in the world. Sir, you're a class act. Thanks for making my kid's night. Thanks for making his friend's night.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
good
job.
Great. Yeah. Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, this match I thought stole the show. Sean Phoenix, he's got both nipples pierced, which is freaky.
He's a good friend of the show.
He gets distracted by Angelic. They start a fight on the apron and then fight into the back. One spot I really enjoyed, and this was a proud dad moment, Anthony Young did like a coffin drop where he falls backwards off the top rope, but finished it with a diamond cutter. And that's when my son jumped up, put his hands in the air, and yelled, bang! So that was a proud dad moment for me.
So DDP will be in Meadville, Night of Superstars, so maybe you could go banging up there, huh?
Yeah, maybe we'll go banging up there, yeah. Patch retains, double knee power bomb. Threw him up in the air, power bombed him onto his knees, 1, 2, 3. I think he did that to Anthony Young, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, also, all of a sudden, boom, on the Jumbotron, Addy comes on and says, hey, summing it up, hey, I got this reset button, you better watch your ass. I'm coming for every champion. I'm 900 miles away in Maine. Is Maine really 900 miles away from Elizabeth? Do we know
I
this?
don't think so. I don't think so. No.
If you would have said,
I don't know.
If you would have said maybe like New Brunswick or what's the one up in Canada? Damn it, I don't know. This is where my falters come out. What's in Canada that's new? Not Newfoundland. Help me out, John.
Yeah. Nova Scotia.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, maybe there's no new in it at all. Okay. So Nova Scotia.
Nova is probably a derivative of new in some Latin language.
Okay, so if he would have said Nova Scotia, I would have bought it. But Maine is not where you're at.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, New York is like 300 miles from where we are. Is Maine another 600 miles? I don't know.
We'll have to get somebody on that. We really will.
Yeah.
But he does say just because I'm not here doesn't mean they're not here. And lights pop back on, and Otis, Corbin, and Remy lay the beat down.
Yeah, they did. Brilliant promo. Oh, my God, brilliant promo. That came from someplace deep within him. It may be a true story. I don't know. We've touched on this before. If you just dabble a little bit of realism, you could tell some great stories. Brilliant promo. I can't say it enough. I'm engaged, and I'm curious to see where this goes.
And Johnny Patch didn't listen to this week's Can Crusher Spotlight because he looked surprised that the culmination was there. Remy told us on the Spotlight that he's coming. So that's on Johnny Patch. That really is.
That's on him for not listening to us. See? You listen to us. Things happen when we say stuff. How many times have we said, here's what WWE needs to do, Mark? And then we turn on Raw and what happens? What we said. That's from you, Patch.
Yeah, that's on you, Patch. Remy even says it. We will be there. Watch out. Well, what, Patch? You're getting comfortable. You're getting too comfortable.
Yep.
So, next match is Big Time Bill Collier against Andrew Palace, and once again, this whole second half, the video is wonky. Wonky. There was one point in this match that it actually rewound, and I watched 5 minutes over again. And there's two things I want to bring up, and I'll let you cover this match. One, CJ was cringeworthy in this match. Any hit, he felt it. He fell down. He oversold. A mouse running through the ring. It was rough.
Yeah, he's too much.
Second, one of our new friends of Can Crushers, Megan Nelson didn't pay attention to this match at all. She was, because that was the angle, and the angle that they were showing, her and her lady friends were putting on makeup. They were texting each other, playing slap ass and everything. They did not pay attention.
Dude, I swear to you, I was going to say that. I noticed it last night. I'm like, oh, there she is. We ought to give her a shout out. You know, maybe I'll talk to her at some point and we'll give her a mention. And then I thought, no, here's where we need to mention her. Like, I've never seen anyone care less about a match.
She did not care about this match at all. They literally, because they did the camera from her side, you know, the opposite side of her to show it her and her friends. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they weren't paying attention to anything with Collier and Palace.
You can get kicked out for that. I talked to my brother Tony, and this sucks. He went to a Madison Square Garden card years ago that I didn't get to go to. And he said this woman was like walking up and down the aisles and getting guys to whistle at her and look at her. Security came right down and took her out because she was distracting from the matches. So Megan's lucky she got to stay.
Right, well, she's on warning now. She's on warning.
Yeah.
Jenny's going to toss her ass out. What happened in the match? Because it went wonky.
Well, again, every match told a unique story, which is what made this card so good top to bottom. So you had Andrew Palace and Big Time Bill Collier sort of having a little beef with Palace insisting that Collier is maybe turning heel, maybe joining a faction. The course of the match itself, Collier just tossed him around. You know, a waistlock takedown, he made it personal. He waistlocked him, picked him up, and boom, face slammed him into the mat. Palace kind of played up the little guy, trying to beat up the big guy, gets hip tossed. But hip tossed with aggression, not just for the sake of taking somebody down. Has a little bit of offense where he hits a head scissors followed by a drop kick, gets up, boom, big boot to the face. Big Time just flattens him again. Big Time hit him with a fall away slam from one side of the ring. He hit so hard, Palace rolled out of the ring and rolled about halfway back to the dressing room. Unbelievable. Another proud dad moment. I said, who invented that move? Sullivan said, Razor Ramon. I shed a tear. He put a beat down on Palace. Palace really tried to hold his own. Collier just too much man. And he came determined to prove a point. He pulled him out of the corner into a powerbomb. It was a situation where Palace was holding onto the corner, like the bottom rope, you know, and Collier had him by the feet. And you've always seen the one wrestler pulls the other wrestler out by his feet, and the wrestler takes who was holding onto the corner takes a bump on the mat. He pulled him up and caught him in a powerbomb. I mean, the strength, the agility that takes, these guys put on a great match. And in the end, it was kind of a punch to the face that knocked Palace out for the win.
And then I did see, this is where the feed came back for a minute. Literally, I saw Collier, Slade, and Palace pointing at Team Big League on the outside, so nobody joined. They were trying to get Big Leaguers, Palace to join, or what happened there?
Correct. They were trying to get Collier to join. They offered him a T-shirt. It was reminded me of the NWO recruiting DDP. He went along with it, hugged, had the shirt, and then he wrapped the shirt around his fist and punched John McChesney in the face, knocked him out. Of course, the rest of Team Big League jumps on him. They're beating him down when Slade makes the save. Still too many guys for those two to handle. Palace is leaving. Fans are booing Palace, telling him to get in the ring. He gives it some thought. Then he charges the ring and helps clear the ring. So the good guys are left in the ring while the bad guys hightail it out of there. I told the kids last night, I was wrong last night, but I'm holding myself to this. Palace will join Team Big League.
I was just going to say that because you said for months now that he used to be a Big League member. Here he was an STD, as it was corrected.
Right.
But
Yeah, Justin. Thanks, Justin. He set the record straight. Yep.
I have one or two that I want to say could possibly join Big League. One being Palace in this whole scheme of what they're doing right now. He's just gonna cave and go with the bad guys. Or McChesney reaches deep into his pocket and brings out one of his close friends from old school Team Big League, because he wasn't there last night, but he might have been watching the feed. Jimmy Nuts.
Oh, wow. That's exciting stuff.
So, all right, moving on, we have a Queen
I'm
versus...
telling you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, all I was going to say was it's so much fun. It's such a good promotion. It keeps you guessing. It keeps you engaged. The big guys could learn a thing or two from these guys.
Queen versus Queen match. We have Katie Arquette against Queen Aminata. And this is one of the reasons why I was upset. That my goal was to get to say hi to royalty. I really wanted to see Queen Aminata. Was she out during halftime or intermission? You know what I mean. Was she out and about?
Yes. Yes.
See, that right there, that's why the knot was in my stomach. That's why man, again.
Dare I say, the knot would have been in your stomach had you met her in person. Dude, I'm telling you. She is something to behold.
Royalty.
She's royalty.
I'm upset that she comes out with LeBar. I wanted to just do it, but, we didn't need him. He really doesn't do anything for her that night. I'm glad, though, I'm going to spoil it, I'm glad she gets the win. I really am, because I could see an angle coming real quick, and then I'm excited. I'm not spoiling this one, but I'm excited to where Aminata is going to go.
She doesn't get the win without him, though. I know you said she doesn't do anything for him. I agree. She doesn't do much for him. Or he doesn't do much for her, excuse me. But LeBar...
Distraction. Yeah.
Caused a distraction.
But she didn't need it.
And that helps. Yeah. Katie hit a really nice German suplex, by the way, during the course of the match. I made a note of that. Snapped it. Very nice looking German by the real queen, Katie Arquette.
Oh, so you're on Katie. It's good. This is a feud between us then?
Yeah.
All right, good.
I've been thinking about, dabbling back into television and theater again. So I looked to Katie. She's the queen of the silver screen. I look to her for inspiration and motivation.
Well, I always want to be better than the silver screen, so I like royalty. And I like royalties because it brings you money. So, yeah, I'm all about it.
Okay, it's on.
All right.
Aminata did a real heelish thing, by the way. She took her coat. She took the fur coat.
I did. I
put it on and then threw it on the ground.
Yeah. That her uncle gave her.
Yep.
So,
cousin. Anyway.
No, it's uncle.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
It's uncle. So I would expect Aminata to be back, right? She would be maybe number one contender now to Raylan.
Yeah. Although, I don't know. He manages her too, right?
Where's he go? Does he stay
right?
funky flashy with one of our best girlfriends of the show, Raylan, or does he care about the royalty like me?
We don't know. Well, we have to tune in and see.
We will. Next show, March 14th. Not that it's being announced or anything, but we'll have to find out. Now we get to the main event. Brian Pillman Jr. against Jack Pollock? Jack, which
First
Jack?
Of all, it's Pollock.
Oh, okay. For the IWC Heavyweight Championship. And again, a little bit wonky. But John, I'll say it. This wasn't my favorite match. I love Jack. This wasn't my favorite match.
Wasn't my favorite. It was good. First of all, the intros were incredible. Hats off to the ring announcer. Holy moly.
Wait a minute. Stop. You can't just say the ring announcer. You just can't say the ring announcer. The guy.
There's more than one. All right.
No. The guy does our intro. You can't just throw him aside like he's trash. It's Mr. freaking Nick Wendell. You can't just say the ring announcer. He did our intro for this year.
But at least I mentioned it. You were going to just skim right over it. The intros were amazing.
Okay. All right.
Amazing intros. Good job, Nick. I like this match. There was good chain wrestling in the beginning. Really, really stiff shots, man. Pillman laid in the chops. He laid in the kicks to Pollock's back, his chest. I thought it was a fine match. It was nice to see Pillman Jr. do that move Pillman Sr. used to do. To my knowledge, he was the first person to do it. Sort of the springboard off the ropes into a clothesline. It was cool to see that move again. The whole card was really stacked. It was hard to go on last.
Right.
Especially with not a major build-up to it and not a major story behind it. I still thought it was good. I still thought it was very good.
Yeah.
But not my favorite. I agree with you. It wasn't my favorite match of the night. My favorite was the Fatal 4-Way. But
Jack keeps the title, and then what happens after sets up March 14. And what happens after,
right.
Again, damn, there's blood all over the place again.
Yeah. Very quickly, I think this was another situation where a basic move won. I think Pollock just hit like a basement dropkick.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with it. You get kicked in the chin, chances are you're going out.
Well, it's his version of a running wizard, the Kinshe that, Shinsuke does, or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, it's Shaq's version of that.
Right.
Okay. So Vegas comes out, he's going to make his announcement. But he is flanked by our boy, Super Hentai, which we need to talk to again real quick. We need to reach out to him. Dean Radford, Bulk Nasty, and Jimmy's daughter. Well, he grabs a mic and he's like, I'm coming out here, and you're putting two and two together. Holy shit, he's going to retire. You understand, boom, right off the bat. And he's like, 2 friends couldn't be here, though, because Plummer fired them, and good that those 2 friends weren't there. Those are my non-2 friends of Jimmy Vegas.
Yep.
So I didn't care about those 2 friends. So thank you, Justin Plummer. Talks about injuries, talking about losing memories, and I'm on board. I completely understand the losing memories thing. But we get to, he wants to pass the torch to Pollock. Pollock says, I'd like one more match. Jimmy says, I can't. All right, well, then put your face mask on. Go from there.
So he puts his face mask on. He tells him, put it on and exit the way you came in, which was sort of the point of his speech earlier. You want to go out on your terms. So he's going to exit the way he comes in. So it's a nice, figurative thing, metaphor, as we writers call it. So he puts the mask on, and they go to hug, and he headbutts Pollock. The crowd was stunned. They were speechless.
It was the old Mark Henry, I'm coming out to retire, storyline throw back in, and then, nope, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yep.
I loved it.
Bloodied him. Refs came out. Everybody came out. And then this is where I felt bad for wishing ill on CJ, because he got his ill here.
He really did.
Big time. Yeah, he cleaned house. Vegas cleaned house. He beat up everybody. There were some fans next to us who were, genuinely scared of what was going on. He treated, I hate to say this, but he treated Plummer like a bitch. I mean, he grabbed him by the face, threw him down, hit his head off the turnbuckle, grabbed him by the jacket or the tie and screamed in his face, and then just didn't smack him in the face, smacked him upside the head.
Yeah. I would have liked to. Now, I speak no ill will of the plumbers or anything, but just one more dig from Vegas as he was walking out to paintbrush him with his foot. Just one more time, just to tell Plummer, suck it, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
So Vegas says, hey, title versus retirement match. So if he wins the title, he stays around.
14th. Yep, wins the belt, he gets to stay. He loses, he's done.
If that doesn't bring you to IWC 18, 19, what the hell are we calling it? 19. I don't, yeah, that usually comes after 18, doesn't it? God.
Yeah,
I don't know what. I'll give you mine real quick. All in all, a great card. I liked it. I really did. I got more upset about technical issues than the wrestling. This is my first time, as I said, watching a live event from IWC. Early on, John, I was texting you, man, the camera looks great. I love just the way they're really on top of their shit. 2-to-1 Media, filming, recording, broadcasting, however we want to say it, the event, because it looks great. It's seamless. It's things out of their hands that pissed me off. So I won't throw them under the bus.
Yeah. I if you're asking me for a rating, I'm going to give it 6 beers without even thinking about it. This is one of the best cards. As far as like, sort of the technical aspect of being live. If you remember, our buddy Jack came with us to one of their events long time ago, 6 or 7 years ago. And, he was a bit of a wrestling fan when we were kids, not a huge fan. And he said, like, some of the little things were missing. There's too much dead air. They could tighten up here or there. Sort of the technical things. Mark, there wasn't a moment of dead air, if you will, last night. They did not let you stop to think for a second before they were on to the next thing, whether it was another match, a promo, whatever. It was a good, tight show. It didn't run too long. This was about as good as it gets. This is certainly one of the best I've ever attended.
See, and I think that's where, again, that knot in my stomach not being there, it was nice not having to drive 3 hours home. Once it was over, boom, turned it off. I was in bed by the time you were home from Elizabeth last night. That was nice. Right. Not going to lie about it. Missing the atmosphere. I said it was a great card. I can give it a 5. 1, because I'm not holding 2-to-1 to the issues, but there was issues on my end. I can't judge it from being there. I didn't get the crowd. So that kind of, Ethan and Kelly weren't screaming in my face or smelling or anything like that. So I had right. Some issues that I missed out on. So good to great card. I can't give it the full effect because I had some issues. And partially because they were right. Ethan's fault.
Right. So this one's on Ethan.
This is clearly on Ethan. Yes.
No. We love you, buddy. Get your stuff straight, Ethan.
He'll be back. And anybody that wants to send him a note, you can send him a note at cancrusher69@gmail.com. Give him some hell about his grades. I'll make sure I pass those along to him so he gets down in the dumps a little bit more, because that's the kind of asshole dad I am right now.
And it's his own doing. It really is. I love the kid. He calls me Uncle John. I love that kid. This is of his own doing. This is just pure laziness. And, that's not what we expect from him.
And that's why I keep throwing him out there. That really is. If it was something else, but this is just pure laziness. So, all right, we've definitely got longer than I thought. March 14th right. is IWC 19 in Elizabeth, and anybody that wants to join us for some drinks afterwards somewhere, we'll let you know where. And I also have, the next time we do our IWC recap, it'll be me, you, and Soup. I have a bombshell to announce. So March 15th, Drunken Mark is going to announce a major bombshell with IWC and Can Crushers?
Guys, he's not even going to tell me. I promise you. As much as I'm itching to know, he will not tell me 1 second before he tells all of you.
All right, we will see you soon. I'm glad we don't have homework this week, by the way.
Yeah, no homework this week. Relax, guys.
Hey, this is Jack Pollock, the IWC Hardcore Icon. You're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. If I like it, you should too.
Okay, what's the big announcement?
I'm not telling you either.
You are going to tell me if I have to go down to Bob's Beverage right now and buy you a case of beer.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I
will get you drunk and take advantage of you.
Watch what you're doing. I don't know which way you're taking advantage of me. I don't know what you mean by that.
Getting information from you. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I was too many beers right now. Legal obligations. I'm going to wait until the March 14th recap of IWC, which will be, first of all, that podcast is going to be on my birthday on March 15th. So it could be one of those complete shit show podcasts where if you don't drink, you're not allowed on the podcast.
Listen, I texted, well, you and John were talking and everything. I texted my lawyer, and you can legally, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, my lawyer.
Right.
I texted them, and they said you can legally do that.
What? Tell them.
Tell us what the big deal is.
I can't. I keep a word with probably the plumbers that we'll wait on that. It's big. Maybe the plumbers have to make sure their shit's in the line first. Maybe it's on our end and I'm holding them up. It's going to be big.
2 cases.
2 cases. Well, we're getting there. No, all right. We're long. We're extremely long. What do you have else that you want to bring up? Let's try to keep this under 2 hours as we're at 140 something right now.
WrestleMania matches we've seen. Nothing really surprising. Nothing.
No. It's going to be, I posted something. They're thinking about, and this is a topic that will take us over the 2 hour mark.
Well, then let's not talk about WWE then. Let's skip that even though we just brought it up.
We'll bring
wrestling game pre-sale.
Yes, the wrestling game pre-sale has officially been announced. I put it up last night. Retrosoft Studios announced that the pre-sale for Steam and the Switch is available right now.
Right.
Because they have the power to do that. For Xbox One and PlayStation 4, it's going to be closer to the time that it comes out, and the time that it comes out is July.
And that is just because of the size of the platforms and everything like that.
It's nothing on Retrosoft.
Yeah, it's nothing that PlayStation or Xbox is holding them out for more money or anything like that. It's just the size of it. They're not even looking through some posts last night. Some people wanted them to put a teaser out, like something you could just
a demo
or something like that, and they're like, we literally can't with the size of those other platforms.
Right. So the wife and I were talking about it on the way feeding the son and everything, and I'm a child. I'm a 42-year-old child. I will continue to agree with that more and more. So I have every platform. Now it's, what platform do I want to get it on? I have Fire Pro Wrestling and those stupid-ass 2K ones on the PlayStation. I have some old-school ones on the Xbox. So I might go and pre-order it on the Switch just because that's a legit why I bought the Switch. I bought the Switch knowing that was where it was going to come out first.
See, you'll laugh at this. I'm in the same way, just a little bit older as far as
not much,
a kid. Yeah, about 5 years.
You just don't have the Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't have the Xbox One, but my side is I like playing games more on the PS4. But for travel purposes and stuff like that, the PSP, having it on the PSP, this will be great for our trips and stuff and things like that.
That's what I was thinking. Well, you said the PSP, you mean the Switch?
Or yes, I'm sorry, the Switch.
That's what. Now that as soon as you started saying this, I agree because
Am I going to pre-order it for the Switch? No.
You're not?
I'm not going to pre-order it for the Switch. I'm waiting. My main thing is the PlayStation 4 because any trip that we're really going to need it on is going to be after it's out and available. So I can get it whenever for the Switch. I could get it by the time we go to WrestleCade.
Oh, yeah,
for
touche.
the Switch. So I want it on the
it's going to be after
4.
Crockett Cup too.
Yep. So that's where I'm going with it. I'm going to have it on.
Do you want to buy it 2 times? It's under $30. Mike
I'm
Herman,
going to end up buying it. Yeah, because there's going to be the Switch.
You can play it on one, and Vinny can play it on the other.
Yes, I can give it to him, and he'll leave me alone while I'm playing it on the PlayStation.
Son of a bitch that makes so we're going to spend $60 on a game,
and that's just it. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it for the price and everything, and the amount of wrestlers and the wrestlers and whatever else stuff that they haven't discussed.
I mean, they've talked about DLCs in time, so.
But you know, when we're doing these travels to North Carolina or Atlanta or
Guam,
or, you know, we're talking about going to Hawaii for a pay-per-view.
Oh, don't say that too loud. Somebody will be bailing downstairs pretty soon. It's not the dog.
It just makes sense to have it on a platform that you can
travel
take with you.
Huh.
Especially when you're, you know, my little one, 5 years old, loves wrestling. Period. He kind of hates WWE crap a bit, but
that's because of you. But okay,
it's always on TV. But AEW, he watches it.
Yeah. NWA,
same thing. He doesn't know about the trips coming up that he's going to be going on, but this would just be a perfect thing.
Yeah,
you know, for him, and then like
for
I
us.
said, for me, maybe instead of sleeping all the way down to.
Maybe you play.
Atlanta, I can stay up for a little bit.
You know how much that would piss me off if you're playing Retromania and I'm driving.
Well, maybe you'd let me drive then.
You've heard my horror stories of letting people drive.
Yeah, I know.
But then if we have that, I guess I could play that and not fall asleep either. Like, I'm not narcoleptic or anything like that. I get antsy.
No.
Maybe it's only because the wife's driving sometimes, and now I'm whispering because she's right upstairs, but...
I'm not saying anything about that.
No, because your wife's going to listen with you later on.
She has guns.
And she's going to throw you out the door and shoot you.
She's not even going to throw me out the door and shoot me. She's going to shoot me on the inside.
And then throw you out the door.
And then throw me out the
door. And then I'll pick you up in the garbage Thursday.
Yep.
Great. Wrestling coming up all over the place. It's all over our website, guys. You can find our website attached to any social media outlet, which is at CanCrusher69 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Yeah. Our email is cancrusher69@gmail.com. And it's time for our teaser. It's time. We're gonna say goodbye right after this. As we talked about, you're giving me a finger for
yes,
something.
one last thing before we throw the teaser in. Ring of Honor is starting a new show.
I did hear that.
It's gonna be. They're gonna have It's kind of like the AEW Dark, from what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be again, getting some talent developed, some breakout talent, stuff like that. More news to come. Not a lot. They're just gonna be doing it. It's gonna be on YouTube.
Oh, so next week you'll have all three of us pretty much in the opening segment like we did last week. I believe John's going to do AEW, and Chad and I will discuss. But we're not going to do Raw because we're going to keep it to 2 hours. Raw is scrapped because
we can by doing the others, by doing SmackDown. I think you can make the comparison. Okay. SmackDown averaged this over a 2-hour show, and you can look at Raw. Okay, it's a 3-hour show. They're going to be about the same thing. I'm going to do with Raw. I'm going to do a cheater on it. I will say that. I will go and pull just actual in-ring wrestling time from Raw, but I have a way to do that to where I don't have to torture myself.
You don't have to watch it
and watch the whole damn thing. So I will do that on the side.
I am going to do, which people are going to be like, it's still not the same. I am going to do NWA and then OVW. I know they're both only 1-hour shows, but they're on YouTube. Yeah. So you could then just go and watch, because they have promos, they have commercials on there, they have their ads, they have out-of-ring stuff. You know where I'm going. So I'm going to do the YouTube aspect of it, of what they have, because they're both running roughly an hour 15.
And we can make the comparisons. Okay,
right.
Raw, hourly comparison, this much crap, which will be 59 minutes and 45 seconds, probably. You know, we can make an hour comparison, whether it's a 3-hour show or an hour show.
Right.
We're still going to be able to say, okay, this company's doing, I'm hoping
X,
we're
Y,
going
and
to be,
Z.
this company's doing real good here, and, you know, failing nicely here. We're going to be able to get a good rating, a good, you know, level playing field, so to speak.
Yeah. All right, so we're there. We're at the time. We brought up Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. We brought up, what other things do we kind of...
Dusty Rhodes and bleeding.
Yeah, blood. We've him-hawed around. We've thrown enough teasers out that maybe you guys would have caught on, that we're going to talk to somebody big back in the day, old school.
That continues to be sought after.
Yeah.
Now.
Well
sought after for wrestling events, whether doing his stick, whether doing...
Do you want to give full name, or do you just want to give them Jim Cornette's nickname and they have to do some searching?
Well, some people might not like Cornette, and I can understand that.
But if I say the world's most dangerous ring announcer, he's written a book called Body Slams, Memoirs of a Wrestling Pitchman.
Right. That's good.
That's it?
That's good.
We don't want to have no name.
No name.
If you don't know who it is, search up all that stuff, and that's who we talked to on Wednesday.
Just think of another clue where Michael Buffer is the big guy used to be the big guy to UFC and boxing. This is his equivalent times 10 to the wrestling world.
WWF, WWF, AWA, WCW, and Ring of Honor he has been in.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Do some search.
You'll hear it Wednesday. And guys, spoiler, we've already talked to him. It's
great,
amazing.
Great interview. Yep.
Yeah. We dive right in. We don't him-haw around.
What's the damn secret?
I can't tell you. I can tell you one thing, though. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can. A garbage can, not a garbage.
See, that's what you get. I knew it this time, but you screwed me up.
No, you just don't know it.
Oh, I forget.